Hello and welcome. Move the Line, the Prop Drop Show, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Ryan Noonan, back to talk about the best way, the most profitable way to bet on NFL football, and that is player props. Live here, 2 p.m. Eastern, every Friday, except next Friday. Well, more on that later. On the 4for4 Bets YouTube channel, giving out our favorite player props and taking your questions. So if you're hanging out with us now on YouTube, we appreciate that. Jump in the chat. Let us know what your favorite prop is for the week, or maybe something else on the board that you want us to talk about. Holiday season. Maybe it's a holiday take. We'll get to as many of those as we can at the end of the show. We appreciate it. You can find the podcast in your podcast feed later on Friday evenings as well. If you're hanging out, support with a subscribe, thumbs up, all those things. They go a long way in helping support the free content. We appreciate it very much. Joining me here, as always, Connor Allen, before his hiatus, his annual trip down to Mexico. Connor, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. I'm going to be, most sober show the next week and a half or so. So I'm pretty excited for that. But hey, we'll let the takes fly out there in Mexico. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is a little bit better than it has been, but I'm confident we'll figure out a way to get it done. So yeah, the holidays are coming up, and I think we got a few spicy plays to, take us home during the holiday season.
Nice. Is the big dog going down to Mexico with you, or?
Oh man, brutal. You're already bringing that up. No, my mom does live in Mexico. And for those who are unaware, Ryan was trying to set up the big dog, quote, Evan Silva, with my mom at my wedding. So that was a very interesting tactic that I didn't realize was going on at the time. But there were some rumblings going on in the background, apparently, Noonan.
Your mom is, I don't know where you got it, because both of your parents are incredibly charming and lovely, lovely people. That was happening on its own. I wanted to facilitate it. In all fairness to Evan at the time, because he was late in classic Evan fashion, he did not know it was your mother. He missed some of the earlier proceedings, which would made it very clear that was your mother. He was just flirting with someone at the wedding. He did not know it was your mom. And then that definitely changed the dynamic. But yeah, we'll never let that one go. Slop, what's going on, buddy?
Just living the dream, guys. Living the dreams. I live for Fridays, and it's Friday today. So I'm living
it. Looking forward to extended kids home and vacation and school vacations, and the dynamic that changes in our homes too. And Connor's just smart. He's just young, doesn't have any kids, just runs away to Mexico for a couple weeks. Try to live vicariously through Connor every year at this time, and just soak it in through social media posts and things like that. I'm envious of that life.
I don't even know what that would be like.
I don't either.
I'm trying to just go to Mexico.
just for a couple of weeks. Not even for man. Good for you, Connor. You can find Slop on Twitter at Slop Rules. Find his stuff on Odds Jam. As well. You can find out a little bit more at the end. I want to remind people two episodes of Move the Line each week. This is Prop Drop, game previews. You want to get a little bit more sides and totals. That's Connor, myself, Sharp Clark. That is 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Same YouTube channel here, 4for4 Bets, same podcast feed as well. Again, don't forget to subscribe. You can also scoop up a betting subscription at 4for4 if you want all the official plays, you want all the tools, articles, all the things that we do over there. Still Betting NBA. That's going to take you, the betting sub is going to take you through the end of February. So massively discounted right now in relation to how our typical annual price is. Head over to 4for4.com/plans. More information here in the show notes if you want to jump in there and come hang out with us. A great way to sweat anything you're doing in the football speculation space. You're playing on any of the pick'em sites. You want all the, like I said, the official plays from Clark, Connor, and myself. That's all in there. Again, 4for4.com/plans. All right, gentlemen, week 16, we got 3 lovely days of football. We got a couple Saturday games. We got a full Christmas Eve slate. And then we got 3 games on Monday, which is interesting too. Let's start with this, before we even get into any plays, what does that look like for you, Slop? How much football are you watching in the next couple of days? Because obviously, you have a few kids, family obligations and all that stuff. How much football is on in the background? Is that something you gotta finagle for? Do you gotta okay?
So we do Christmas Day with my in-laws, and I have a nephew. He's early 20s, so I just get him to turn on the TV. We're at their house, so you know what I mean, when in Rome. So we're good there for the whole day. I usually stay there until until the games are over. So that's pretty much how I play it. At my house, I mean, like it all depends on kids' sports schedules. So being that it's the holidays, there are none. You know what I mean? So I'm good to go there. I'm green lighted pretty much. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, it's nice. Connor, where are you at? I don't know what your travel schedule is specifically, but you probably don't have to fight Maggie too much for football watching time, right?
No, I mean I'm a dink. You know, we got no kids. You know, we got nothing really to worry about. We go to her family's house, and they know the routine at this point. They know that I love football, so I literally just grab a drink, go sit on the couch, turn on the TV like it's my house, and then just watch football. And same with Christmas. So I don't know. Like they'll come and watch football with me, but most of the time they know just to like, you know, whatever.
I want to be Connor when I grow up.
Right.
Yeah, but you guys have great families and stuff. I have, you know, we're just a little couple. So, you know, maybe one day I'm sure I'll be in your guys' shoes and maybe a little bit.
You'll get there. Hang on to what you got right now for as long
Yeah,
as
I was about to say, I would just do what you're doing. Like, sounds like you got it made. He's going to Mexico. He's like turning on other people's TVs in their houses, watching football. That's awesome. That's how you roll. Like, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, my family's awesome. I love it. I married into an awesome family. So like, yeah, family is great. That helps, you know, massively, especially this time of year, because it is like an easy thing. Will be like my wife's like 94-year-old grandmother who like watches everything. It's the summer, and like the only thing that I've ever seen on TV in that house is sports. Like she'll watch Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
What a
like,
degenerate.
So, like football is,
Yeah,
football is
betting
always
stuff?
on. You know, I don't know. She probably has got a bookie that no one knows about. You know, so I
They
wouldn't
probably do it
be
old
surprised.
school.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
she's
she's gotta
definitely old
call
school.
them.
Old Italian bookie, you know, something like that. Like
She's
drops
old
off
Italian.
cash, like a brownie box, you know.
Yep, everything's cash.
1,000%. Yeah. So, you know, could be worse for sure. So, and you know, my wife is awesome with letting me watch it, and she understands, hey, this is what we do for work. So, you know, we kind of have to watch these games. Yeah, with Canders, how much football will I be watching in the next few days? Yes. That's a fantastic answer. Dad's here, going to be hurting this weekend. No chance we can lock in 3 straight days of football. Hate the schedule this weekend from Ryan. Yeah, it's tricky for sure. Probably have some window time. Yeah, that's a little tricky. You got to get the YouTube TV. You got to get it on your phone. You know, prop it up right in the middle of the dash. You know, so like you don't have to take your eyes off the road, but you can put the red zone up at least. You can't navigate.
You listen to it, Ryan.
I can't say I haven't done that. I have 100% done that. Yep.
1,000%. Yeah. So
I do it all the time. No, you can just listen
improvise.
to it. If anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like all I got to do is be able to hear what's going on. I can just picture it in my head.
Yeah. Probably for my mental health, it's probably better to not watch in sweat like tackle props. You're like, my guy's in there, give me the assist, and it doesn't happen. Like, I'm probably better off just consuming from my phone in my car. So maybe that's something I add to the routine moving forward. So to each their own. So awesome. All right, let's jump into it, Connor. Floor is yours. Week 16, first play here for us. Where are you starting with us?
Yeah, I wanted to bring Slop a little Christmas present here. So we got 2 overs and 2 ladders. So we're gonna go with the first one here right off the bat.
Merry
We're gonna
Christmas.
go with Amari Cooper over 56.5 receiving yards. This is pretty widely available. Cooper has 109 and 77 receiving yards in 2 full games with Flacco. He had 3 for 34 before getting injured against the Rams on just 30% of the snaps. He's been targeted on over 25% of his routes so far. And I think Flacco is pretty volatile, but they're passing a ton. Second in pass rate over expectation, third in overall pass rate despite largely playing in like competitive games. So it's not like they're passing to play from behind. Like they're just going out and throwing more. Now you get a matchup here against the Texans, who have really not played all that well since a week 7 bye. 67% completion rate allowed, over 8 yards per attempt, and over 9 yards per attempt outside wideouts, where Cooper runs 85% plus of his routes. So I think 56 yards is just really, really low. So I'm playing 80 plus, 90 plus, 100 plus. You can get that up to like plus 500 or plus 475. I think on DraftKings is 100 plus receiving yards. So I think that this is pretty solid here, because this is just a spot for him to go nuclear again, especially if Flacco's like retaining any of the same kind of volume. And I think they will here.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's been definitely a shift in terms of pass rate over expectation. Sometimes too with offensive line injuries, you can't protect as well, but also teams, what they often do is like, well, let's just get the quarterback back in shotgun and get the ball out of his hands quickly, versus like, let's just try to like plow through and create holes with some of these backup guys. So I think we've seen a shift there. And I think you brought it up on another show too, Connor. It's interesting. This has been the Flacco thing, because this is what the Jets did too, right? They just kind of shifted into like this pass heavy offense when they got Flacco, which is really very interesting. Slop, any interest in this Cleveland passing offense?
Very much so. Very much so. I'm actually kind of like all over the Cleveland stuff. I'll just go with my play. It actually is a Cleveland play. It's a guy you just named him. Joe Flacco, 2+ touchdowns. 2+ passing touchdowns, sorry. I got it at plus 142 yesterday at FanDuel. It's at plus 124 right now. It looks like that's the best place to play it. I'd still play that there just because, I mean, obviously plus 142 is better. Like, no one's going to argue that. But plus 124, that's still good enough for me. So here's the thing. Like, he's done this in all 3 games that he's played so far. They don't have anything that resembles a run game once it gets down there. So there's that. Houston's only given up 14 passing touchdowns this season to quarterbacks. So that does kind of suck. That's fewest in the NFL. But, and it's a big but, we're talking about quarterbacks like Will Levis, Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Kenny Pickett. I mean, dude, I wouldn't take those guys to throw 2 touchdowns in a game against like Tewksbury High. You know what I mean? So there is that. Baker Mayfield threw 2 against these guys. Zach Wilson just did a couple weeks ago. Njoku is going to be a problem down there, I think. I think Flacco seems to really like that dude, so we could probably get 1 there. 2 touchdowns is just not a very high bar, especially for the way the Browns have been playing. I mean, you can hear my dog. My dog loves that move. So, I mean, this feels like – it almost felt like when I saw plus 140 something yesterday, I was like, wow, like something's up. Like I wasn't sure what I was looking at. But, man –
yeah, that's a good line. Where's this total at? Is this still in play? Let's see where that is.
His yards?
No, just the games total. Just the where are we at? 40. Yeah, I think it's moved up a little bit because I think we're in the upper 30s a little bit. So yeah, I don't hate it. I know Connor's in on some unders in that backfield too, so I think that kind of supports it a little bit too. Them just going pass heavy, and even when they score, I think Flacco is involved. A little same game parlay there, Connor. Any thoughts on Flacco with 2 scores?
Yeah, I like it. Flacco 2 scores, Amari Cooper overs. I played Jerome Ford under. I mean, he has literally 8 carries. Kareem Hunt had 7 carries last week. Houston allowing the lowest yards per carry to opposing running backs in the league. So they're going to have an easier time passing it. Flacco wants to pass it anyways. Yeah. Like, it's all adding up to a spot where they're going to run the ball in first down for like 2 yards and then throw the ball 2nd and 3rd down. Until they get the first down again. And then that's what's going to happen every time. We saw it against the Bears. Literally the exact same thing happened. It was like they couldn't run on first down because the Bears, run defense is awesome, but the Bears pass defense actually played pretty well. This Texans pass defense is not good. So I'm excited to see what Flacco can do here.
Yeah, play in the red zone too. Like those are my favorite ones when you get down there and the first play is just going to get stuffed. And it. It's like, all right, so now you got 2 shots at the end zone. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure how many times they're going to get down there, but dude, we only need 2.
Yeah, 100%. Our guy C-Mac in the Discord was bringing up Flacco attempts earlier, and I didn't want to say anything because I knew we were going to talk about it in the show. So, yeah, shout out there. I think that's a pretty good look, too. I think it's like 34 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's pretty low. I think he's going to pass a bunch, but I think you can probably play all the overs and all these, and they're all going to hit. So,
yeah, let's see. Completions for Flacco, 21.5 plus 100. Attempts, 34.5. Looking at DraftKings, minus 125. So, yeah, shop that around a little bit. But, yeah, I don't hate any of those and anything to kind of support those is pass heavy continuing here. So, one that I like quite a bit here to get started is Chuba Hubbard, over 16.5 rushing attempts. This is on DraftKings at minus 120. Moved a little bit on Caesars, but pretty readily available. There are some books that are at 17.5, though. So, if you can get the DraftKings at 16.5, we obviously rather take it. I actually still really like it and think it's playable at like minus 115 at 17.5. Before the coaching change that happened, Carolina was 5th in raw pass rate, 17th in pass rate over expected. Since the coaching move, 29th in pass rate, dead last in pass rate over expectation. Hubbard has at least 22 carries in each of those games, 3 straight, taking a larger share from Miles Sanders, who's just kind of is still involved, but not necessarily like early downs, not necessarily anything like that. Like he's more involved in the passing game. And Hubbard's been good. So like, doesn't seem like there's any threat for Sanders really kind of taking back over that role. And this is a great spot for them to kind of continue like that. If they just shifted all of a sudden and started chucking again, would be very weird. Like teams love to run on the Packers. They have faced the third most rushing attempts in the league this season, negative 3.1% pass rate over expectation against them, 6th lowest in football. I just like this to continue here. You want to take some, like, you don't want to do rushing attempts, take like 69.5 rushing yards. You could take alt rushing yards. I think there are plenty of ways to play this, Connor. What are your thoughts on Chuba?
No, I absolutely love it. It's you're looking at the number and you're like, holy shit, 16.5 seems like astronomically high for a player like Chuba Hubbard. But then when you think about it and look what's been happening, like you said, the Panthers want to run the ball. They've been super run heavy. They fall behind. And I lost bets on this. This is where I first started noticing, was because I lost to Chuba Hubbard under, because they were down 20 points and they're just running the piss out of the ball. Like they had no interest in throwing still. And I'm like, what is going on? Like they just don't want to win. They don't care about that. So their drives are going to be long. They're going to be like 7-8 minute drives of just 10, 7-8 carries for Chuba. And then it's going to be a field goal attempt. So I also played Jordan Love under on the other side for kind of the same reasons. This Panthers defense has actually played really well out of their bye, allowing 5.9 yards per attempt. Only one quarterback's over 200 passing yards. I think those actually correlate fairly well in a lot of ways. So take some Jordan Love under, take some Chuba Hubbard rushing overs. If you want a little same game parlay there. This game is going to be outrageously boring in my mind, but hey, maybe it's one of those you bet on, don't watch, and then just collect your winnings after.
Yeah. What do you think, Slop?
I have it crossed off on my sheet.
There you go.
I was like, I'm good.
It's a good sign.
I'm all set with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Just
That's
competitive.
That's a thumbs up for the Jordan Love under. If the game's crossed off of Slop's list,
yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's get a little spicy here, Connor. There's I feel like there's a game that's going to draw a lot of our attention in terms of the spice this week, but I'm interested to see where we go here.
Yeah, I think there are a couple games that you can target, but I went with another real round robin thing here, and I'll give you a couple of the legs, but I don't want to give you my last one because it's also my last play, so I'll give that to you after. So Amari Cooper plus 475 on DraftKings. Tyreek Hill's alt lines on DraftKings are like disrespectful right now. So I think that you're looking at 113 plus is like plus 200, over plus 200 for 113 pass or receiving yards, which I get he's banged up. I get he's injured against the Dallas defense, but they play a ton of man. He's averaging like 5 yards per out run against man. He's just absolutely shredding them. So if he's 70, 80% healthy, if this is even remotely a game, he's going to catch 1 or 2 long balls and he's going to absolutely shred. So I think that's an interesting one to put in there. Gabe Davis alts. He's done absolutely nothing, but it's 60 plus. It's like plus 390. I don't think that the Bills going run heavy was like a new game plan. Like they're going to just be run heavy forever. I think it was game plan specific against the Cowboys, who were one of the worst at defending the run. So I think we see the Bills pass at least a reasonable amount in this one. Chargers pass defense is terrible. So, again, it's not something I'm looking to play over 30.5 receiving yards because I think he gets there, but I don't want to bet minus 115 on it because he could very well dud. But he also has, I think it's 5 or 6 games over 60 yards and then 4 or 5 games at 0 yards. So it's the ultimate boom bust alt player. So I like throwing him in there. And then Jordan Love alt under passing yards around 200, I think is fair. But you can't bet that yet. So I don't have it officially in there. And then I got my next one for the next play, but I'll wait on that until we're done with this section.
I love it. And you said the first leg, we said plus 475 for Amari Cooper. What is that, over 100 yards or?
Yeah, 100.
Okay.
It's a first half line.
Okay, first half line. Absolutely love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, and then we can round robin that, which I love how just absolutely bonkers that strategy is. So yeah, you hit a couple of legs, you're still going to get paid a little bit there, and not just leave yourself there where you have that one leg that falls short. And yeah, love it. Love the look.
I'll tell you the odds after I tell you the next one, because I did round robin it on DraftKings, which, by the way, DraftKings added a new feature recently, which this is the best feature they've had in a while. You can type in the amount, like FanDuel does. You can type in the amount, and it'll tell you what your max wager is on it. So
yes.
Right.
No, they've been doing that. That's my favorite thing about them. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, FanDuel does that. DraftKings just started doing this a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it is a lifesaver. Yeah, right, exactly.
I didn't know they did. Okay, now I thought you were shouting out FanDuel. Okay, yeah, no, DraftKings does it too.
Yeah, look at that. It's been
I just
great.
Noticed it a couple days ago. Yeah,
that should be illegal. for books not to do that. I'm like, seriously, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that's like, dude, if there's a limit on what I could, like, you have to tell me what it is. Like, I put what I want to do in the box, and then you come back and say, I shouldn't have to submit, because that means they could literally just be taking your action, or not taking your action. Sorry, just getting it though, getting your information, but then not taking your action. You know what I mean? And then deciding then,
Yeah.
I don't want it arbitrary. Like, let me type it in the box, and that's it. I didn't hit anything. You don't know what I like, but yeah.
It's also massive for like round robins and same game parlays. So what used to happen was I would try to put like $20 on a round robin or something like that, and they would just outright reject it and say max limit wager each. But now I typed in like $10 to see what they would give me, and they gave me, it was literally, my limit was like 10.45, so I put $10, and it's like $10 to like 10,000, and it put it all in for me, and like immediately, and I was like, oh, this is amazing! Like finally, I can put in parlays without getting like max limit wager reached. And if you do it all at the same time, it won't give you that message anymore. So huge shout out DraftKings for doing something right for once. Yeah, excited about that, to at least be able to bet $5 or $10 on something that I want to bet without getting like completely chopped.
The worst is that they had shifted to that you get that notification and not even a dollar amount. They would just tell you that you like, there's no dollar amount.
It was so dumb. Yeah. It was like, this is fun.
You're just not taking the bet. Like that's definitely illegal. Yeah, that should be illegal.
Submit and find out, because it's like, dude, like that's like the biggest scam in the world. Like so you're getting someone's information, but like you're not letting them bet. Like that's bullshit.
Yeah, just predatory behavior for sure. So kudos to DraftKings for being less predatory. Still a small level of predatory behavior, but less predatory, and we'll give you it's the holiday season. Yeah, we'll take some improvements wherever we can get them. So yeah, I should have parlayed everything I gave out on the show last week. I mean, I swept the board last week here, including the spicy section. So shame on me for not doing that slop. I apologize. It could have been but 10 to 10K just by trusting myself and putting it all together. Yeah,
10 to 10K in one day.
Live and learn.
Why wait to climb the ladder? We can just do it all at once, right?
Yeah,
100%. Yep. Just get to the top of the first day.
All right, Slop, where are we going? Where are we spicing it up this week?
All right, so I've done this before on this show, and it did not work. But I'm not a quitter. Never have been my whole life. I'm going to go again. I'm going to go Jameson Williams, 80-plus receiving yards, plus 880. All right, at FanDuel. Look, here's the thing. They got the Vikings. They win, and they clinch the division. They haven't done that since I was like a freshman in high school. Been a while, so this is a big game for them. A lot would say it's the biggest game for like all these guys, so they're coming in. Not that they wouldn't be trying before, but again, it just sounds nice if I say that first. They got the Vikings. The Browning guy from the Bengals just threw for like 320 something against them last week. So they're not good. That whole 3-0 game against the Raiders, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they all went and partied the night before, so who knows what happened there. But that was a fluke. I think they can be had in the air. And Williams was on the field for 68% of the snaps last week. Got targeted 7 times. Like, that never happened. Like, he's like a 2-target guy. So let's just say they are throwing the ball, and it does end up in Williams' hand. 80 yards on 7 targets. I'm not saying he's going to target 7 times, but what if he does? You know what I mean? Like, 80 yards is not a lot for a guy that is that fast. That could happen. And I'm actually going to play it, and I did it just now at FanDuel, and they did the thing. It's, if you put 100, they let me do, I can't see it, $51. $51.07. But still, I think that's it, man. I think that's the move. I think this is finally the week he's going to pay me back all the money he owes me. And if you don't want to get that wild, why not? Ooh, plus 1,200 for 80 on DK. Even better, Mary. I like it. I didn't look at DK first. But they never have better odds. But you could do 2.5 receptions for like plus 120. I did that at DraftKings this morning. So if you wanted to kind of make it a little bit safer, you can always do that.
Yeah.
I like it. Good find by Mary. Shout out, Mary.
Yeah, thank you, Mary.
4 supporter. Appreciate it very much. Good finds.
Let's see what they
yeah, I like it. He's involved more for sure. Connor, what do you got on this? Any thoughts?
Yeah, he's involved more too. There are some pretty interesting splits that Rich Rebar talked about in his column this week with like cover 2 versus cover 3. So the Vikings play like the first and second most of each coverage, basically. And like in those coverages, like Goff has been like absolutely horrible against cover 2. And then he's also played amazing against cover 3. So it's like they play cover 2 like 55% of the time, something like that. And then they play cover 3 like 30%, 40% of the time. But he's like amazing against one and horrible against the other. So it's like in my mind, you're gonna see like probably 2 or 3 straight completions and then just like a laser over the middle or like, a bomb. And hopefully Jameson connects on that. So I don't think it's gonna be super consistent, but I think that the upside is there for this Lions offense. Also indoors is key. Jameson playing more. I mean, I'm also like a sucker for Jameson. So 27.5 is just too low. I mean, I just think he's a baller. He gets too much hate. He's, maybe not the best, player in terms of like someone who like got on the field and was like working the hardest or any of that, but he hasn't had to. He's just been faster than everyone else his whole life. So I think that, in this spot, hopefully he starts getting going here. Everything has changed since he like had that downfield block. You remember that like a couple weeks ago, maybe 5-6 weeks ago?
Awesome play. Yeah.
Literally. He blocked for that touchdown like 40 yards downfield.
He's the anti-George Pickens.
He is.
For sure.
He's got grit now.
I mean,
George Pickens has no grit.
None.
Yeah. I mean, he ran like 80 yards. It was Montgomery against the Chargers. Like sprung him. He wouldn't have scored that touchdown without it.
And we need him for 80 plus. Just saying.
Perfect.
Coincidence? I think not.
Circle of life.
Sometimes it just falls in your lap. It's just right there. So yeah, you love to see the spike in route participation too to support it, and targets came along with it. And earning targets at a higher clip. One game, but like we'll take it and just build on it. Hey, becomes 2 though. We call that a trend if it happens twice. Slop. So why get on the back end of trends? Just jump on the front. Be a leader.
Love leaders.
All right. I'm surprised that none of us, well, not none of us, because I'm going to break the trends. We got a 51 point total here with the Cowboys and Dolphins. I thought we were going to have some Cowboys and Dolphins stuff. Connor talked about Tyreek there too, but I want to get access to this Miami run game, and like it's not even like a reaction to what Buffalo did and how they ran all over Dallas. Like Connor brought it up on our Wednesday game preview. Like you've been able to run on Dallas all season long. So yeah. Jonathan Hankins was out. I don't think he's practiced today. To wait and see what happens there. Big, 360 pounds. Like not a great player, but like a guy that just takes up space you got to account for, and very, very easy to run on this Cowboys defense without him. But without him, and with him, it's been happening too. Like they still were bottom 5 run unit. You can get some explosives on them, and this is a team built for some explosives. So I want to find different ways to do that. And Devon Achane we just haven't seen the like upside for a little bit. It's only a matter of time. So a couple different ways to do it. First of all, Achane's been like getting some really interesting work in the passing game. You can get over 52.5 receiving yards. And again, like we know how flimsy running back receiving yards could be. So I'm not going to mess with this binary prop at like 23.5, though it's interesting considering the work he's getting. But 52.5, like this is a dude that he literally could do that on one ball with his game breaking ability. 52.5 is 5-1 on DraftKings. If you want to get him for 100 total yards and 2 scores, because again, like this guy has like massive upside, and we've seen a lot of running back. When was Mostert have 20 touchdowns? We've seen some running back touchdowns here, big plays on top of it too. So 100 plus, 2 scores for Achane, 13-1 on DraftKings. You want to do it with Mostert? He's going to continue to get a couple of touchdowns. 80 rushing and 2 scores for Mostert is 9-1. So I just want access to like, I don't want to say different ceiling outcomes because I'm not touching anything specifically on the Dallas side. There's nothing that really intrigues me in like focusing there, because I think we could see Jalen Ramsey. He shadowed last week on Garrett Wilson. I think we could see Ramsey shadow a little bit here on CD and slow him down at least a little bit, especially when he's in the slot. So not super excited about any Dallas stuff, but yeah, I want access to Tyreek ceiling, Achane ceiling, Mostert ceiling. And I think these are some interesting ways to do it. Connor, what do you think?
No, I love it. What's the status of Miami's like offensive line? Like, are they getting healthier? I didn't check their injury report today.
I forget who it was. One guy's in and one's a game time decision. So the guys that have been missing of late. So some good news. So we'll have to wait and see there.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that would be a big difference maker for them, because then they would probably just be able to run the ball. I mean, not as well as the Bills, but a lot of the game. And I think Mostert would have a big day. So that would be worth throwing in the alts. Instead of Tyreek, or with Tyreek, maybe both, honestly, because you'll probably get that rando bomb from Tyreek, and then Mostert just grinding out 70, 80, 90 rushing yards. His prop's only like 57.5. I feel like that's low. I don't know. I kind of thought like low
It's
60.
low.
Did you think that too? I don't know. I saw it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get there. I mean, I don't know. I always think Achane's prop is a little bit too high, but he's so explosive. The thing is, like, Mostert has been the guy when Achane just has gotten like cleanup work. Like, he doesn't really get even that much work until the second half, and then he got injured. So I don't know. I probably like Mostert over probably the most here.
Yeah. So Mostert, 80 rushing, 2 scores, 9-1 on DK. So yeah, I mean, the Achane stuff is, it's hard not to be like romantic about what happened early in the season when that guy touched the ball. It was just like insane explosiveness for, a little 3-game stretch there. And we just haven't seen it much of late. But again, like, it does feel like there's been some spots where, even when he came back in that Raiders game and they said he could have played and they were super cautious with him, didn't play him the next week. They gave him a little bit, 17 carries against Washington the next time out there. And then, against Tennessee, and that game got a little bit closer. He had 9 targets, caught 5 balls. Surprising that he hasn't broke any. Like, he's topped out at 30 receiving yards. So asking him to do 52.5 is definitely something that he hasn't done yet. This is a guy that, like, we just have 1 catch. It just has to be the right one. And then a team that plays a lot of man coverage, like, he's going to get Damon Clark in man coverage or something in the flat, make one guy miss and just take off. Like, that's another part of the handicap that I think is interesting with the way the Dallas plays D. So yeah, one access to that game going a little bit berserk. And I think those are interesting ways to do it. So, all right, regular props, Connor, back to you. What's your last look here? And this is also going to be the last leg of the round robins, you said as well, right?
Yep. Yeah. We're keeping it fun here, keeping it a little bit hot. So I'm going to play DJ Moore over 65.5 receiving yards. This is not a very standard prop that I would play, but there's a lot of things working in his favor here. So in full games with Justin Fields, DJ Moore has 52, 68, 114, 96, 25, 104, 41, 131, and 230 receiving yards in full games with Justin Fields. He's literally has, this number in 6 of 9 games. He has over 100 yards in 4 or 5 games. He is just absolutely crushed with Justin Fields. And now he gets a matchup here, and this is super matchup specific because as someone who's watched, every Bears snap for years at this point and seen every play of Justin Fields' career, when he's not under pressure, he's awesome. Like, he is very good for the most part. And Arizona doesn't blitz. They don't get pressure. They're like bottom 2 in both metrics. And so you have that in factor here. I think Justin Fields is going to play really well. And then DJ Moore's splits are pretty similar to Justin Fields. So when Justin Fields is under pressure, averages 4.6 yards per attempt. When he's not under pressure, 8.4 yards per attempt. DJ Moore, when Justin Fields is under pressure, just 1.2 yards per route run, 9 yards per target, only 19% target share. When Fields is not under pressure, Moore has a 28% target share, 3.9 yards per route run, 12.7 yards per target. Essentially, you're giving him some time. He's just going to sling it to DJ Moore on these crossers, on deeper routes. If he doesn't have time, it makes sense. He's just not going to be able to find him as far downfield. So I like this spot here against the Arizona Cardinals defense that not only doesn't get pressure, but they're allowing a 72% catch rate to opposing wideouts and 9.2 yards per target, which is, just abysmal. So I think there's a lot of factors coming together here, and DJ Moore is he's a dog. So I get it's a high number, but I also think there's 2 alts at DK. 84.5 is plus 205, and then 108.5 is plus 500 on DraftKings. So, again, these are numbers that he's hit multiple times already, and I think this is probably the best matchup out of all of them, outside of Washington probably. But so he had 230 in that matchup. So go figure. Plus 500 here. So if you're looking at this round robin that I put in, it was Gabriel Davis 60 plus, Amari Cooper 100 plus, Tyreek Hill 138 plus, and DJ Moore 107 plus. It's I think 100 to 1 on a regular parlay, maybe 1,000 to 1. It was 10 to win 10,000, so maybe it's 1,000 to 1. It's
pretty good.
Yeah, right. So I round robin them. You win a couple of different ones on 3s, 4s, whatever you want. So just some interesting legs there. I'll probably throw an official one and tweet it out or something like that. But yeah, what do you think, Noonan? Any thoughts? Are you proud of me for playing some overs here?
I am. You were firing unders all morning and saving the didn't want to mess up Slops, Christmas, just a gentleman.
Yep.
Just
Class
saved
move.
all these. Class move. Big
Mhm.
time. Yeah, I played around with a couple of different Justin Fields things too. And I think that you can, in terms of like, the uncorrelated parlays too, like under attempts over yards, I thought was interesting because I think they could run a lot here and have success doing so. But I still like the big playability because I knew you were on the DJ Moore part too. So I knew that was part of it. And yeah, he's been awesome. So yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to do it. Bears, I don't want to say the Bears cruise, but like comparatively, the Bears play really good football. It feels like a really good spot for them here. So yeah, I like it. Slop, what do you think here, DJ Moore?
I'm a big DJ Moore guy. With Fields though, only with Fields though.
Yep.
He with Teabag, not so much. But Fields, I'm trying to think, what's his reception number? Do you get that right in front of you?
It's like juiced 4.5 or plus money 5.5. Yeah, it's no fun. I hate when they do that.
6+, but I mean, I kind of want more than, plus 110 or something like that. I'd probably want that a little higher. But yeah, no, he's a reception guy, and he's a yards guy. So you got options with DJ Moore because he's not just going to catch behind the line of scrimmage and get slammed. I mean, he does get those for your receptions, but they also find him downfield. He runs the intermediate route. I mean, he's literally who Justin Fields is looking for whenever he looks up. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally like, where's two? So yeah, he's a fun guy to have.
Yeah, and that Cardinals secondary is beat up and bad. They're bad when they're healthy. Yeah, he's gonna cook there too. And the weather's gonna be decent. Like, it's in Chicago. You think Chicago game right around Christmas, it'll be like 50 degrees and nice. So no concerns about weather there. So yeah, I like it. I like it quite a bit. I think tying some of the field stuff too, if you wanted to go same game parlay, I think is of interest to me too. So Slop, what do you got for us?
All right, so this one kind of got nuked a little bit since I bet it, but I'd still do it at this number. Gerald Everett, 3.5 receptions, minus 102 now. It was about an hour ago. It was like plus 116 and 118, something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know what the Chargers are really going to look like without Staley, but they still have Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore likes tight ends. I think he likes Gerald Everett. He's been on the field like 63% of the time over the last 4 games. In that span, the Chargers have targeted their tight ends more than everybody except for 4 teams. So he's getting targets. We're talking 25 targets in those 4 games for Everett, 8 in each of the last 2 games. Easton Stick probably going to need somebody pretty close. So I don't know if I'd go yards on this guy because, again, he could have one of those catches where he loses yards just because they do run the tight end screen with him, and or he runs 2 yards and turns around, and that's the play. So I feel like receptions is probably the way to go. No Keenan Allen, so that's another thing. The Chargers probably playing from behind. So if you don't get it from the Chargers being good in the first half, then you can get it from the Chargers being bad in the second half. So you get 2 ways out here. It's only 4 catches. He's done this, I think, 4 straight games. I mean, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, dead cat balance. We talked about a little bit. What's going on with the Chargers. It's hard to get a idea of what to expect there. But yeah, bringing us back to week 1 where Slop was on tight ends. And I think Gerald Everett in particular.
Big
Connor, any thoughts on? Yeah, big tight end guy. We know that about you.
Middle school.
Connor, any Gerald Everett thoughts?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, 5 receptions each of the last 2 games, 4 receptions the 2 games prior. He's playing a lot. I don't really know. Maybe I gotta go rewatch that Easton Stick game because when that game was close, he was horrible. They just couldn't do anything outside of throw the ball to Gerald Everett. So,
yeah,
that was it. That's the thing.
That's what
and no Keenan Allen again. Yeah, that's I think receptions here is definitely the right look because I have just serious concerns about their efficiency and Easton Stick here because they just looked dead in the water. They can't run the ball. So it just puts so much pressure on him with a bad receiving core. I don't know. There's a lot of issues here.
All roads lead to Gerald Everett.
Yeah, I considered an Easton Stick under, honestly. But after, he put together 150 yards in the second half last week, kind of scared me off. What if the Bills are up by 40 here and, he just dinks and dunks his way? You want to know my
take, though? Is he wasn't that bad early in the game, right? He wasn't good, but the turnovers, I mean,
yeah.
You fumble a fucking kick, a kickoff, you and a punt, and it's dude, are you serious right now? It's 21-0, and before the guy even touches the ball again after going 14, you know what I mean? So it's I mean, how much of that was him, if that makes sense? I mean, again, I'm not saying he was good. I wasn't ever considering an over, but I'm just saying, when it comes to that, it's now it's 21-0 in the first quarter. The guy really didn't do much wrong. He didn't do a lot right, but it was that punt returner and the kick return. I mean, you pretty much so now he's getting rushed every single time. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Definitely we'll see. Like, who knows? But I don't know. 4 catches, I think that's just all I'm focused on. That number. That's such a low bar. And they can't throw to anybody else. Maybe the Palmer kid. Like, can you trust him?
No, not really.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
8 targets back-to-back games for Everett, which is real nice. I mean, last game only ran 24 routes and saw 8 targets, so it's a good day's work.
He stiff-armed the shit out of that guy too. Did you see that one? Go look him up on Twitter. I mean, it was nice. So like, you got that going too.
Yeah.
You know who I will not be betting on in that game is Alex Erickson. That was took his over. It took me playing 8 Mile to get him out of his shell, until he got his 14-yard.
Whatever works though, Connor. It worked.
Hey, it worked. It was magic when it did happen. It was nuts.
I feel better sometimes when you have to wait for them like that. And they pay off. It's like, you earned it. If you get that first quarter, slot bets a lot of first half lines.
Yeah.
They just, the money's in the bank. It's great. But like, you don't feel like you earned it as much. When you sweat the full game. Yeah. You like watch that for 3 hours to get at the very end. That's a full day's work, Your per hour on the bet is a lot less, unfortunately, but yeah.
You might even lose weight watching ones like that.
Plus, like, the amount of unders that I've lost on that bullshit this year is like this. Like, I had to win a couple overs on it, like Zay Flowers catching that like 25-yard dot from Lamar and like the last play, like all these different things each week that it happens to be on unders. It happened to be on an over. It was magical.
Beautiful.
Good to be there. All right. Last basic prop for me here. Isiah Likely, over 36.5 receiving yards. It's another spot where like I wanted receptions, but like, we're juiced up to kind of an unplayable range, and I would want more than the price that I would get. So, to go like 4.5 plus money would still probably be like plus 120 or something like that. So I'm going to take over 36.5. This is readily available. Caesars, DraftKings, MGM. If you have Rivers, bet Rivers, there's a 34.5 available at minus 117. But yeah, I mean, not everyone has access to that. So we played Trey McBride here last week, over 5.5 receptions against the Niners. Made the case last week that I thought we were getting a discount because of the perception of the defense, and that definitely came to pass. I mean, McBride's also an absolute stud. Wanted to go back to the well here on McBride, but we couldn't get a good price there. But yeah, I just think we're getting a discount because of the perception of the Niners. And look, part of the case last week with the McBride handicap was they just haven't really faced any actual upper tier tight ends. And the ones that they have, Trey McBride last week and TJ Hawkinson, those guys have 8 against the Niners. So I love the Niners to absolutely, like, I don't want to say boat race, but I think the Niners are a problem offensively. They're going to score some points. So if Baltimore is close and competitive, this is really good for Isiah Likely anyway. If not, they're playing from behind, which I expect. It's also really good for Isiah Likely, which is kind of what I think is going to happen here. So he's topped it in every game that Andrews has gone down, 83 and 70 yards the past 2 games. We need him to get half of that here. 29% target share last week. He's running around on 87% of the dropbacks since Andrews is out. Like Kelsey's like 91%. A lot of other elite tight ends are like 75%. So like we have like wide receiver 1 type of route participation, basically. Like Tyreek runs a route on like 85% of the dropbacks when he's playing. So this is pretty good usage here for Likely. So I just think they're going to be in the game, pass heavy game script, and Likely is going to be heavily involved. Connor, any thoughts?
No, I like it. I think it's I feel like it should probably be like low 40s. I think that 36.5 makes a lot of sense here. I think the issue, like all of these guys have been downgraded because of the defense here. And because of we're getting, Zay Flowers, low 40s, Odell, like high 30s, kind of that same range. And then Bateman, like high 20s. So it's always interesting, I think, among the wideouts, choosing your poison here, but I think Likely has a more stable role. So I think it's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. 50 plus is plus 155 on Caesars. You could probably shop that around and find some other prices similar. Slap, any thoughts on this game, which I think is probably, the best of the weekend there, Christmas night, little eggnog, little Niners, Ravens. Any thoughts on Likely here? You're a big tight end guy.
Yeah. Huge tight end guy. Again, since middle school. Likely is nice. I mean, we were watching him last week. I think I had him. He was in one of my parlays. Like, I watered down a bunch of reception props. I think it was 3+. That was the biggest gift ever. I mean, you knew that was cashing very early. They're real like creative with how they try and get him the ball too. They do that misdirection shit where like they go one way and then Lamar rolls out the other way and looks for him. So obviously they like him. They want to get him the ball. I don't know how much they're going to be able to move the ball with their receivers. So I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. Zay Flowers okay, but I mean you're going to need something. You're going to need Likely. And 36.5, that's a first quarter line. You don't see those a lot.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I know I hit a different tab because I thought I was on the wrong stuff. I want to make sure.
So wait, is that a first quarter line?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the whole game, so I don't mind sweating a full game line. So I think that matters.
That's interesting. Also, I want to add in there. You said drinking some eggnog. This reminds me. Have you ever gotten drunk off of eggnog? 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Your stomach is just an absolute shambles. I mean, it is a complete disaster.
It's for the young people, early 20s, so they can say they did it, and then they realize why you never do that again.
Oh God, just complete disaster. It just reminded me of some bad times. So I'm not an eggnog guy anymore. It was good. It was good going down. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I love eggnog. I'm not a big like get wasted on eggnog guy. I'm just not a big like get wasted guy to begin with for the most part. But definitely it seems like a really bad mixture of like the alcohol just kind of just
too thick.
Rotting around. It's
you know what I mean? It's just too thick. Like that's the beginning of it immediately. It's just too thick, and then Connor's right. It's just coming up. Jesus Christ, that's a rough night.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, but I just kept rolling with it for a while.
You gotta try it. I mean, you have to try. You have to see what it's like, and that is not good.
Yeah, Steve mentioned having Irish coffee like a real alcoholic. Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
Christmas morning.
Yeah. I do. This time of year, it's nice little treat. Want to have like a little dessert, little something sweet. And eggnog is pretty sweet. It's really good if you happen to like chai, like black tea and eggnog. Cold. It's delicious. Highly recommend that for your. Again, you want to put a little bit of like alcohol in that.
What?
No alcohol. You can. I'm not.
You lost.
I don't know what you.
Lost me.
Oh, I know I lost you.
That doesn't sound very good. I don't know. I mean, I just been going with scotch. They quit this time of year. No tea, no eggnog, just literal scotch.
Just scotch, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Drunk on eggnog sounds miserable. Yeah. I would imagine like the 10, 15 minutes before it starts to work its way out is probably a pretty disastrous feeling in your stomach. That's
anticipation of death is worse than death itself. It's that's kind of goes with that. You know what I mean? Like, because what's about to happen. It's just like, man, there's nothing you can do, and you just sit there and know it.
Yeah.
Lop, we got a question here. What kind of scotch do you like?
I got an Oban downstairs. It's I think it's a single malt. It's I'm not even that much of a scotch guy. It's just it was downstairs. So I've been drinking it a lot lately. I mean, what's wrong with that? Whatever. But it's not bad. We got the giant ice cubes. Those the rubber containers. You make the giant ice cubes, so that's good too. It doesn't get watered down.
Those.
Yeah. So what you do is you have one glass or whatever, a couple fingers, and then you can just move on to like the Miller Lights. You know what I mean?
Of course, gets you going. Like ignites everything.
What's up?
I said, it ignites everything. You got to get like, one glass of liquor, and then you can just like coast on some beer, maybe 2 glasses, and then coast on some beer.
Yeah, you seem like a 2-glass guy. Yeah. So I'm gonna have another.
Of course. And then Timmy, bourbon is the correct choice. I'm also a bourbon guy, but scotch is solid too.
Only in the plastic bottle, Jeff. Kirkland scotch.
Yeah. Kirkland, they just came out with the new golf clubs at Kirkland too. Like you can get everything you need over there. Kirkland signature golf clubs, buy some scotch, buy a pair of jeans. Yeah. Yeah, whatever you need. Head over there, get 25 pounds of mayonnaise, whatever you need. They'll take care of it for you over there.
I like stores like that though.
Yeah. It's like meat and stuff from Parks and Rec, where
Yeah.
Ron
Yeah.
gets
Place,
yeah. April got some like dead birds, stuffed birds. Ron got some hamburger. You can buy like whatever you need, yard equipment. It's whatever you need. They got it all. All right. What else we got here? Some defensive stuff. So some stuff I liked has come out since we started. So I'm going to refrain on some of the tackle plays that I really like this week, because those are you bastards will move those before I can get to them, really. But there's some stuff on the board that is popping that is of interest to me. We'll get going there. A couple sacks. Boye Mafe, a defensive end for the Seahawks, playing the Titans here this week. We're either going to get like a banged up, gimpy Will Levis or Ryan Tannehill. Mafe is over a quarter sack on DraftKings at plus 120. When Tannehill went down, if it's going to be Tannehill, had the second highest pressure to sack rate in the league. That's been a trend over a couple of years here. And he's been taking almost all of his sacks were off the edge, the second highest rate in the league at the time he went down in week 6. And Mafe, been quiet lately in terms of sacks. 7 on the season, though, getting like 4 or 5 pressures a game over the past 2 months. Been real close. I think we can get over the hump here with even a half a sack at plus money. And then Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff is for the Jets. We are playing the Commanders here. Kudos to Howell. Sam Howell's not taking sacks like he was early in the season. Still a great spot. And Huff has been awesome. He's got 3 sacks in the past 4 weeks. He's third in PFF's pressure per snap metric. He's second in like just overall snaps, third in like, designated passing downs, and, doesn't play as much, but played a season high snaps last week. I just think he's going to be in a great spot here. Same plus 100 for a quarter sack. If you're looking to get down on those are both on DraftKings. Those would be my favorite sack looks for the week. So, Connor, we can jump into the questions here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for your defensive props when those get released here. All right, so we got Bobby Big Wheels off the top. How do we feel about Canadian kid Chuba Hubbard breaking loose for 80 plus yards at plus money? Noonan, I think you're in on that, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, plus money. What is it, 69.5? I think is his actual rushing prop. So yeah, you can chase this. I think he's been like at least 94 in the last 3 games. So yeah, he's been doing it.
Yeah, love it. Shark Burners here said he hit a negative correlation on Alvin Kamara. I'm guessing receptions and like over receptions and under yards. I was thinking about this. I thought about it. What a good play, Shark Burners. I am so jealous because I looked at it and I didn't put it in. So I know a lot of people are on his yards, but that turned out to be caked. It was just about the receptions, I guess.
Hit the Jaden Reed one last week. The Jaden Reed one was fantastic because he caught a ball and then went out, like limped off the fields, and was very excited. Saw that he was at 52. We needed under 54.5. And that's the perfect injury because he's not actually like really hurt.
Really hurt. It's like, you know what? Just like take the rest of the game off, get yourself right, come back next week. I like it.
You're losing. There's only 10 minutes left in this game. Yeah, relax. So yeah, that was fantastic. 7-1 on Reed, which was a nice play.
Yeah, that's a good hit. Jeff Stenberg commenting on the kids situation. Having kids is for dummies. Imagine having to spend money on clothes and food for some little idiot and not using it to gamble. Devastating. I think it's a pretty fair take.
Valid point. I mean, it does.
It seems like something you'd tweet, to be honest.
Jeff. Jeff's my alter ego, but like he really exists.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh man. Noonan, I'm curious about this one. I've been looking at it. Justin Watson, 17 yards over minus 121 ladders. Kadarius Toney banged up for the millionth time, maybe not playing. Justin Watson pretty stable. 56.
Sky Moore's IR, right?
I don't know. I mean,
Sky Moore's on the IR. He's
so irrelevant that it doesn't even matter. Like I know.
Yeah, it happened.
You actually want Sky Moore out there running routes, so that way that one guy's eliminated. You don't have to worry about catching pass.
He just runs cardio. It's just like unbelievable how bad he is. It's just truly like
crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously Rashee Rice is like settled in. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Rashee Rice settled in as the number 1 guy. Travis Kelce, as the obviously constant force, but they're going to take 2 or 3 shots. Justin Watson. I think I'd almost prefer to take like 25 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus than 17. Yeah. Noonan, thoughts there? Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at the average of the target on the season. It's just a tick over 20. Last couple of games, 25, 18, 37. Like he's, the way that they go at him. And that's like, 2, 1, 1. I had 3 targets last game. So that's probably part of the love. So yeah, it's the way to play him. Play his longest reception, play the highest level of ladder that you can grab would probably be the way to play Justin Watson anytime you're ever considering it. So.
Yep. Yeah. Love it. Chris Boswell over 1.5 field goals. Jeff has been cashing his kicker props and then adding me every time I laugh at them on Twitter, which has been good. It's been a good tradition. So, yeah, I mean, plus money, they're probably going to kick at least 2-3 field goals. So
it feels like a first half line, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Sharkburner's tailing. Nice. All right. Love that. Bobby Big Wheel is coming back at you, Noonan, here. Cortland Sutton has cashed longest reception line in 7 straight. This is Noonan written all over it. Any thoughts this week on it?
We did it last week. Successfully got there, I think fairly early in the game too, which was nice. Yeah, he's look, you can't run against New England. Surprisingly, still, like they are giving up the lowest explosive. I actually looked at I haven't done this yet. A under on a longest rush. Javonte Williams seems interesting. Javonte Williams is like one explosive rush all season. New England has the lowest explosive rush rate allowed. Kind of feels like a nice marriage. Maybe I'm leaning Connor to water on something there. But that feels like a Connor play more than something I would do. But yeah, Sutton, again, we know Russ, it's moon balls and checkdowns. And, Sutton is the leader there. Connor's on an under on Jerry Jeudy, which I think is a tough spot there too. New England plays a decent amount of man. I have no reason to think that this is – and he hasn't even really been – last week I think he got 23 yards. That was like the closest he's been even flirting with the line. He's been like 30 pretty consistently in this little run here. So yeah, I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton has grit. Jerry Jeudy does not have any grit. Negative, kind of the same thing there. So we're gonna, I'm fading Jeudy, but I think Sutton is probably a solid look.
We popped that back up. Is Bobby Big Wheels at a jump park here? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really see.
Bobby Big Wheels either has kids or he's the reason that you have to verify that your kids are leaving with you as your adult, because he's either hanging out there by himself, which is problematic, or he also has kids. So he can chime in on lots of being a dad at this time of year. But yeah, shout out to Bobby.
That's so good. Jeff Stenberg straight up just ripped my stat from Twitter and copied and pasted in the chat. Miami is 8-0 when Tyreek gets 100+ receiving yards. They're 1-4 when he doesn't. Ramsey will be important. Thank you for stealing my stat, Jeff, that I posted on Twitter like an hour ago. So, I
swear, Jeff.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Steve.
That's better than some of the touts in the space that are out there stealing picks and reposting the picks that come out like 20 minutes later.
I love that. That's my favorite. You're watching, it's like, dude, this is so obvious that you're doing this, but you're doing it. That's all right.
Yeah, they didn't think they were gonna get caught at all. I mean, I don't know. Everyone knows what's going on in the space. If your tweet does well, which is the point, then people are just gonna see it and be like, well, this is posted elsewhere 20 minutes ago. So
it doesn't. It's just so weird.
The space is just hitting a total wall right now. It's all these people are just
I had a great time with that tweet the other day. The guy calls it a lock and everyone's mad at him for it. It's I mean, I don't know if you think it's a lock, then just say it. You know what I mean? But I mean,
all those
Caruso, I know you're talking about. Yeah, the Caruso, Joel Embiid, 6
years. And it's bro, that's. I mean, if that's what you think, then just say what it is. But they were killing them for it. But it's all right. I mean, they're saying the stat itself was a lie. That's what he was using. But it's dude, if you're reading the stats that he was using, they weren't great stats to make a play on. So anyway, so it's what does it matter? And it's not. I mean, just like George Costanza said, if it's not a lie, if you believe it. So there's that. So
a big part of it.
Yeah. We had some people in the Discord asking me about that, and I gave my honest opinion. Caruso's a really nice guy. I met him in real life. He just, has some interesting verbiage and things I don't believe in, and counts alt plays on records. Sleeper does alternate, lowered lines, but they're minus 180. He counts those as regular and doesn't count.
No, you can't do that.
So
you gotta use prices too, Alex. If you're watching, use prices, bro. Put the price of the play there. You can just put over 57.5 yards. How
Are
much?
we airing grievance? This is an airing of grievances. I love this.
Yeah, but that's it though. I other than that, I don't even mind that, dude. If you want to say, hey, this is a lock. I mean, obviously, if you ever read anything I've written, then I probably agree with this. But if you say, "Hey, I'm going to bet my mortgage responsibly on this," then okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you do it. I'm just saying, like, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing. Like, I think there's no chance this loses. Like, that's why I bet money on it. But,
6
like, all right.
units.
Yeah, no, he took 6 units on that. I was like, dude, the only thing I wish he would have done it for 10. Because I mean, if it's the best play of all time, then why not just put 10 units on it and be
Like, why 6? What a random number.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, he probably went in once and then went back at it, and then like he kept going. But like that's how you get to 6 whenever you just keep going back at it. You're like, you know what? I'll put another one on there, and then finally he stopped there.
I'm not gonna lie. I bet the opposite at plus money just because that tweet pissed me off so much. Because
you were an under guy too. So,
yeah.
Well, fuck this.
I mean, it's 250,000 followers. So he tweeted it out, and like a bunch of people bet it. So it obviously gets steamed that way. So then I was able to the under at like plus 125. Like I'm just on a regular number. So I was like, well, all right. I mean, it's maybe the greatest play of all time for a 6-unit lock, but I think the reasoning is pretty dumb. So I'm going to take the under.
Yeah.
And so
that was my point. Like the reasoning, like just like, bro, like don't worry about the reasoning. That's over there. Like that was problematic. But like the language, I was like, all right. I mean, the kid believed in the pick. What do you want him to do? What do you want him to say? It's not a lock. Like, you know what I mean? Like he thinks it is.
Anyways,
feel every pick says lock. All of the picks say lock.
I love that.
And like they still say lock. He hasn't stopped. They still say lock.
He is very quick. He gets to the point right away. Like just like, yo, lock. You're like, all right, well, awesome. Like I want to read about a lock.
I think what he means is does that mean to him? Does that mean bet? Like this is what I'm betting on? Like lock in? Because to us, I think a lot of it means like this is guaranteed to win. So like the clarity versus like I'm betting on this versus I guarantee this is winning is something I think he's got to kind of work through. Hey, teach their own. Like it's your Twitter account. It's working for you.
Marketing genius. Him and Bucket with Trent, we talked about him last week, are just absolutely murdering the game from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah,
it is indisputable.
Let them cook. These guys are cooking. Let them go. Yeah, see what happens. It's fun.
It's your account. While we're on it, I'll air a grievance that's maybe a little bit more, in my fields. If you guys you bet any prop live, it's very hard, right? Like the markets are fluctuating so much. It's impossible. Tackles, like you'll see just massive swings off the board, on the board. It's like all the time. And, there are other people. I'm not the only one out here betting defensive props. Other people in the space, it's part of what they do. I think it's kind of like really shady to count live bets that no one could possibly tail in your win-loss record. Yeah. And you played 3 plays
in a service that you're selling.
Yeah, you played 6 plays this week. 3 of them were live. You went 3-0 on your live bets that literally no one else can tail. So
the only time I've seen that work, so like Steve and Run Pure and like this one guy Nuke the House or whatever, they do like a live show like the entire game. So like 4 hours, and like they're talking the entire time, and they're like, I'm betting this now. And like anyone who's live watching, that's like, in my opinion, the only way that you can get that to work, unless it's like halftime. Or like even at halftime, it's like they probably got like 2 minutes to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
you don't
like that's the only way it works.
You can't count those. I mean, I don't know if you want to like show your picket slip, like show like how profitable you are, something like that. But like, when it comes to like what went out the subs, really, because there's no way anyone bet that.
It's happening more and more, and it's I mean, it probably bothers me more when I have like a losing week or a 500 for the week, and it's like, oh yeah, we went 5-1, and it's like you played 2 things pre-game, and you played 4 things live, and no one else could ever possibly get those, and that kind of sucks. But whatever, like it's again your accounts, your business. I think some of those things are very frustrating.
The couch space, though, man, it's so much like real life WWE. You know what I mean? Like it just is. Like there's just all personalities, and they're all just fucking wild. It's just you just do whatever you want to do, and you just see what like quote unquote works and what doesn't. It's fun to me. I like watch. I'll be honest with you. I like to stir the pot a little bit because I like watching the guys because they get so mad, and you're just like when you think about it, just zoom out for a second. You realize like none of this shit really matters. Like so. Just don't get that mad. I mean, you can get ticked off. There can be things that bother you, but like some guys, they just start going in, and you're like, bro, I just want to watch it. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, there's like 3 clear divides. It's like there's like the plus EV grinders who are like pro bettors. There's like the newish or like the old prop community who is like like you, like maybe like guy like Prop Bomb, like Prop Bet guy, things like that, who have been grinding for a while. And then there's like the new group who's like Caruso, Sal Vitri, and like Joe Holka that just tweet like nuke and then like terrible reasoning, like literally just the dumbest things you ever read. But they get insane engagement. You know, like it's like
awesome.
it's wild stuff. Yeah. So
I might start doing the lock, like for the first word. I gotta get
Just
a
do
better
it.
word though. I don't want to copy, so I'll do like.
yeah.
I don't really like the goat one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's start with
No.
this play cannot lose. Like that's. I mean, that says it somewhere in the tweet, anyways. So I'll just put it up top. You know what I mean? Like
It's
there's
true.
some way of saying it.
All right, what else we got, Connor? Anything else that wrap us up?
Yeah, let me see. I think that was about it. We had a nice little
Airing your grievances.
yeah. All right, I'll run through these quick. Alex,
think we
Mom
pretty much
Spaghetti
fixed everything.
Erickson. That's great. PD Rock. Shout out to P Rock, always active in the Discord. Finally catching a live show. Merry Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas to you. Sneaking my Uncle Scotch at Christmas is a great Christmas tradition. Love that. Jeff, ETN, over 86.5 combo yards. Slop, any thoughts there?
No, I don't like the combo stuff. I don't know. Sure, that could hit. I'm not saying that, but I just do not just go to that market ever. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask.
Yeah.
I think we need to see T-Law stuff here first.
Yeah, I look at it first. Don't get me wrong. I looked at Cook. He was one of my favorite. And then I was like, yeah, I'm good. It just gives you I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. What's up, Jax?
What's up, bro?
That's Connor.
What's
That,
he
you
think,
know,
buddy?
Connor. That's Slop. Yep, Slop.
Love
Say
it.
what's up, buddy.
Oh, man. What a great episode.
The kids.
Who?
Oh, man.
Bubbles. All
The
right.
Sandlot 2. Look at that. There you go.
Mhm.
Amazing. All right. I think
All right,
that's about it. Yeah, I think that's all
wraps
we
us
got.
up.
Yeah.
All right, good Festivus episode. We appreciate it. Again, we talked about it a little bit, regardless of what you are believing in this time of year, or how you're looking to celebrate. Eggnog, scotch, whatever it is. You got a nice little long weekend. I hope it comes with winners, little to no stress, good food, good beverages, as much quality time with the people that you want quality time with as possible. Like I said, hopefully winning bets as well. So for Connor and Slop, I'm Ryan. This is Jax. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah!